Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Football. My name is John Halpin alongside Chris Palma and with our special guest today, Mr. Alex Klis. Thank you for joining us today.
Anytime, bud. I appreciate you inviting me.
What's going on, Alex? Nice to meet you.
What's going on, Chris? Nice to meet you.
So, Alex, for our audience, would you be able to tell us who your team of affiliation is?
Do I have to?
You don't have
Just for the
to.
record.
For
the record, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I am a lowly Jets fan. Lifelong sufferer, Mets, Jets, and Islanders fan, so it builds a little character. But taking it to the chin, and I'll continue to do that until my dying days. So
Yeah, we're not going to walk down the road of the Jets again. We are not going to open that
No,
drawer.
please
We've
don't.
unpacked
Please
it
don't.
4 times this year.
Yeah, the Jets are actually one of the most talked about teams that we've talked about this year, but we did want to talk some really great games this upcoming week. So if you're watching this is our part 2 of our week episode, so please be sure to watch our part 1 in the link just below. But let's just jump right into the game that you wanted to talk, Alex, and that is actually the Thursday night game, the Broncos and Chargers. This was a very interesting game, and I'm excited for this one. But so let's just get started. Let me ask you, why did you want to talk about this game in particular?
So, number one, it's about Battle of Oregon Ducks. So, gotta go that. Number two, it's the battle for the wild card, right? Or at least the 6th seed of what it potentially could be. So, it's the most intriguing matchup, minus 2, obviously, the one that you two are going against each other, which I'll let you duke it out on that one. But I think it's the most intriguing, or second most intriguing game in the week. It just happens to be the short week in the Thursday game. So, well, yeah, I think the fight for the 6th seed and the wild card, really is the most intriguing part.
I was going to say, I well said, Alex. I really like it. CP, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, when you first mentioned it to me, my first thought was, wow, this is a good late in the year division game. And then exactly like Alex said, this is to determine the wild card spot. Alex, for the past couple weeks, we've been talking about playoff standings and how the bracket is more or less forming each other. When it comes to crucial games, this is it.
Yeah.
These last couple weeks are it. Because moving forward, there isn't much more anybody can do to move. There's no more wiggle room. It's just total position swaps with wins and losses coming in. So we like to use the term must-win game a lot here. Must-win game is all over this one, and I'm actually really excited to watch this game.
This to me, this is a full must-win game. I don't know which, for both of them, pretty much. Because we're gonna dive more into it, but I love must-win games. So
it's a playoff game without the playoff title of it, right?
Right.
Because there's just so much at stake. Now, realistically, both of these teams in the AFC West, Chiefs have that division locked up. So, like you said, you both of you mentioned, this is for wild card seeding, and it's important to note that it determines where that these teams are going, because all wild card teams are on the road, as we all know. So it's like, would you rather go into Pittsburgh, or would you rather go into Buffalo? Would you rather? It's tough. And right now, we say the 6th seed, but realistically, it could be 5, 6, or 7. Any one of them.
It could be. Yeah.
So there's still 3 games left for each team. But this really is a big divisional game, because as it's shaping up, the Chiefs at this point in time look to be the 1st seed, right?
Right.
And
they clinched that, no?
Not the first. They clinched their division, not the 1st seed.
Division,
Right.
So I think they need to win 2 of the next 3, and then they.
2? They have to. Okay.
Yeah. And I think. Yeah. But for these teams in particular, Buffalo's probably going to be the 2nd seed, right? If the Chiefs are the 1st. 3rd seed at the moment would be Pittsburgh. 4th would be the Texans, right? And so right now, the current wild card teams in the AFC are the Ravens, the Broncos, and the Chargers in that order, right? So Ravens would then go to Houston, the Broncos would then go to Pittsburgh, and the Chargers would then go to Buffalo. And I think that for teams, for both the Broncos and the Chargers, it might be more favorable to not go to Buffalo if you're the 7th seed.
To be honest,
either one is not a favorable spot, but it's like,
no.
Man.
I would want to do everything I could to avoid going to Buffalo. That's just me personally. I might even want to go to Kansas City. I just think Buffalo now. I do.
No.
I'm not even kidding.
No. Sorry, we have to disagree there.
That's fine.
Playoffs, fine. Kansas City, a postseason Arrowhead Stadium.
Yes.
It's like Gillette Stadium 20 years.
So straight. You think Mahomes is going to wake up?
It remains to be seen. Of course, this team.
I know Josh Allen has been,
he's playing his cleanest football
conversation the last couple of years, but this year I just feel like he's playing on a different level.
There's really no conversation anymore. It should be Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Year. And that's just a personal opinion. I think there's no more conversation. It should just be him.
I agree. And this is coming from a Jets fan, so it says a lot for me to say a Bill, but
there's a reason why those accolades stop at the regular season.
Agreed.
Because everything changes in the postseason. Postseason Chiefs are a different animal.
Yeah. Well, it's are they bored? I shouldn't say bored. They're 13-1, but still.
No, they're playing chess. They're doing it tactically versus doing it abruptly.
Yeah.
Again, Josh Allen is playing his cleanest football, and he is without a doubt the MVP. He is still a gun-ho gunslinger who is shooting to put up a ton of points. The Chiefs have taken a step back, and they have begun to show people they don't need to score a ton of points. They just need to shoot the time off the clock. Mm-hmm. And that's where they are a step ahead of just about everybody else in the league when it comes to time of possession.
I get you.
When
it comes to that, yeah.
So come the postseason, it's not going to matter how many points you can put up. It's going to matter how long you hold the ball. So again, it remains to be seen, but postseason Chiefs are different. But I do respect the Bills. They are lethal.
Yeah, and it's just crazy how this bracket goes. Now, let me ask you guys. Getting back to the Broncos-Chargers, this matchup. In LA, and Alex, I'll start with you first. Who needs this win more?
To me, I think the Chargers do.
Yep.
Reason being, I think Herbert, he's done pretty bad his last 4 games. Mm-hmm. Sub 90 QBR the last 4 games. Mm-hmm. So I think for him, he needs to really start showing, where he should be I don't want to say a top tier quarterback, maybe short of a top tier quarterback, mm-hmm. but on that second half of quarterbacks that we have, I think he should be in there, and he's not playing like it. The Chargers, I think, with Harbaugh and with all that stuff, have shown promise, but over the last few years, it's kind of running thin, and they need to get that going. So I think for the Broncos, Bo Nix, he's the favorite to be the rookie of the year right now. Mm-hmm. I think he's been mediocre, if I'm being honest. Chris, you seem surprised about that.
He believes, man. He believes.
So, okay, all right. So let me read some stats. Ready? So 66 QBR worse than 3 of his last 6 starts. 18 quarterbacks have started all 14 games. His QBR is the lowest of all 18.
Okay.
5 picks in his last 2 starts.
Mm-hmm. Right.
To me, everything about that is mediocre. If lower than mediocre. Is it because he's having a slump towards the end of the year? Could be. Listen, he's a rookie quarterback and could possibly be that. But as the favorite of the rookie of the year, which pretty much everybody thinks he is, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but he's not having a great second half of the year. So even for me as a team with the Broncos, I have my rookie quarterback, I have that stuff. I do see promise in him.
Mhm.
And I think the last few games that they've won is because of their defense, not necessarily because of him.
Well, for sure. Their defense has totally stepped up in the second half.
Yes.
But that's where it comes to, it's not a single man sport. So while I agree with you, the back end of Bo Nix's rookie season has been lackluster, you need to remember he's already double what his college career was.
Yes.
You know,
And
college
that's what I'm
you
saying.
only
He might be
play
slumping.
8
Yeah.
games.
Mhm.
So this is the battle of attrition now.
Agreed.
You know, he's tapping into a gas tank he didn't even know he has. So there's gonna be some growing pains come the back end, that, like we saw it with Jaden Daniels, we saw it with C.J. Stroud last year, we see it with him now, we saw it with Justin Herbert when he was a rookie.
Yep.
You know, when the Magic started in L.A., Halpern and I saw it from a mile away. The Magic was Justin Herbert.
1,000%.
But then the ugly little facts about the Chargers came around. It's that they have no 2-minute game. And that has been the staple of them up until Jim Harbaugh has arrived.
Yeah.
And he brought in the mentality of Michigan, where it was, we're going to run an ace set with an extra lineman, and we're just going to run it down your throat, and then we're going to form a play action, and we're going to play complete games. And over time, they have developed. But I will have to agree with you, this is a much more necessary win for the Chargers.
So what scares me about what you just said, they're bringing the extra linemen. They've let in 3+ sacks the last 4 games.
Right.
Hasn't worked out.
And from what I've understood, they mostly come from the interior, not from the extra man.
Yeah.
They've mostly come from the
still,
center to the guard. So they still have issues up front. They have to find that cohesive unit that locks in. That takes a lot of time to develop a cohesive offensive line.
It does.
It's taken the Steelers 7 years, and we still don't have it right. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to tell you how long the Jets have been trying to do it since DeBrickashaw.
It takes,
Shout out
to make a truly professional elite offensive line, it takes years, or you have to strike lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Multiple times, which is extremely hard to do.
Is that a pun with the lightning bolt, or
No, no pun intended. Actually, that was a good catch, though, for sure. I
agree. I think it's more of a strike now with the Chargers. They have to start showing up on stuff. Where if the Broncos say finish out the year, what are they? 9-5 right now.
Right now they're 9-5, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, they're having, to me, I would have signed up for this year if I was the Broncos. So far as things are going, I didn't think they were going to be. Me and John looked at picks and stuff before the end of the year, but I didn't think they were going to be worse or better than this. I would have signed up for this, absolutely. Chargers, I would have thought would be better, and they're not, and they should be. I think the last 4 games have been a little rough for them, but it remains to be seen. This is a huge, huge game for them, and I do genuinely think it means more to them than it does to the Broncos.
What do you think?
I agree with you both, because realistically, if I see the Broncos going into, let's just say the playoffs ended today, right? If the Broncos go to Pittsburgh, I think that they can give Pittsburgh a fighting chance. And I think that's as good a chance as any, because realistically, the Broncos have not been to the playoffs since that Super Bowl win against the Panthers. That was the last time they appeared in the playoffs.
With Peyton Manning.
All those years ago.
Jesus.
That was 9-10 years ago? Actually, that was a 2015 season. Yeah, so
15.
9 years.
Wow.
So
they haven't had a playoff appearance since then?
Yes. And,
oh my God.
And the Chargers, obviously, they want a playoff win, because their last appearance in the playoffs was that big, massive collapse against Jacksonville, right? So realistically, for the Broncos, if they were to go to Pittsburgh, I think they have a fighting chance. The Chargers, I think if they go to Buffalo, they get creamed.
Right.
And because typically warm weather teams don't do well in the cold. It's just like
No.
the law of nature of football, right?
And Buffalo is like extra cold.
It's
That's
extra
not even,
cold.
That's not even just cold.
That's
Yeah.
different level cold.
Yeah.
Now let's flip it too. What if Chargers go to Pittsburgh and the Broncos go to Buffalo? I think the Broncos have a better chance to beat the Bills than the Chargers would to beat the Steelers, if that makes sense. And
I don't know if I necessarily agree.
and that's fine. I think too, what was revealing is last year the Broncos Bills and how Sean Payton had a plan in Buffalo to really stifle Josh Allen, and Broncos won because of just they kept the game close. They didn't let it get out of hand, and at the end of it, Sean McDermott made some poor coaching. Was not aware of his decisions as a coach, and I think that teams could take advantage of that. And I think that to answer the question, yes, I do think the Chargers need this win more, because I think the Broncos, they're a team that looks to really be problematic for teams in the playoffs because of what CP, what you alluded to earlier, their defense. And defensively, they're the second, like statistically, they're the second best defense in the league, right behind Philly. Philly's got the number one. But I want to talk about scoring defenses for a second because I was looking at the stats. So all three. So the Eagles, the Broncos, and the Chargers, all three teams have given up 247 points. That is the fewest in the league.
Good for them all.
All three of them, right? So their defense gives up on average 17.6 points a game. Let's round that up to 18 points a game, right? I think for the Broncos, it's like we kind of expected them to have a good defense this year, but the Chargers are just as well. But the big difference there is just point differential, man. Broncos are just scoring more, and Herbert and Bo, you look at their stats too, like the passing yards, they're both at 2,900 yards, 63 completion percentage. Herbert's 16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Broncos 20 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, and as you mentioned, Alex, before, he had 5 interceptions the last 2 games.
Yeah.
So that is pretty bad. I think, to me, both defenses are well above average, right? They're top in the league at doing what they do. The Broncos have a better offense than the Chargers, but the Chargers are a little bit more conservative with the ball and are a little bit cleaner with the ball than the Broncos are. Now, is that a good thing? It would be nice to get touchdowns over field goals, right? But I think that when it comes to entering the playoffs, teams that can really have that defensive heartbeat are teams that can really make it through the playoffs. And right now, both of them have that steady heartbeat on defense, and by a lot of players that we may not be familiar with. I know a lot of fans this year are now getting familiar with the name Nick Bonito on the Broncos. He is a absolute stud on the Broncos, right? But there's a couple other defensive players that are getting it done too. I want to give a quick shout out to linebacker on the Chargers, number 0. I'm probably butchering his name. Deanne Henley. I'll just call him Henley, right?
Yeah.
But he's got 131 tackles this year. That's 5th in the league for total tackles. And he's a second-year linebacker, and he is getting it done for the Chargers. So, again, both of these teams are more defensive-oriented teams, and I really want to see which one of these teams can make that push on offense, because I think that if you have a solid defense entering the playoffs, you have a good chance to win.
Yeah, 100%. A defense being able to hold good offenses to not being able to score points and becoming a harassment clause for the quarterback on the other side is really what you want going in. So it's really, with these two teams, it's going to come down to coaching. And when it comes to preparation, you can always count on Sean Payton to over-prepare for the worst thing to happen. And that is for Bo Nix to have his worst game. He's prepared for that because he saw it the last couple games. So I don't expect another sloppy game to come out of Bo Nix like the last couple. I do see Sean Payton being that type of coach to clean it up come the end of the year. They were actually my bold prediction to steal the wild card spot this year.
Okay.
Because I'm a Bo Nix fan. When the Broncos drafted him, I knew that they found a franchise guy out of the gate.
Agreed.
Now, when it comes to this year, I said they could possibly steal a wild card spot. And they still have a rough road ahead because they have to get past the Chargers, who are still clawing for that spot as well. There needs to be a bigger sense of urgency coming from the Chargers before the questions start being asked about Justin Herbert. Is he really the guy?
Do you think he is?
I personally do. I like Justin Herbert as a quarterback. I like him as someone to wrap a franchise around. I don't think the problem is with him. I think the problem is in your offensive line. I think your problem is with injuries. So it comes to preparedness and it comes to conditioning throughout the week and throughout the season and routine and whatnot. So I don't think the issue falls on Justin Herbert unless it comes to him actually having a bad game. I think the Chargers they do a good job at getting in their own way a lot of the time.
I agree. To me, it boils down to a couple of different things. So the Broncos, for the season average, like you were talking about before, John, season average, they're averaging 17.5 points per game given up, right? Out of the last 3 games, Chargers have scored 17 points.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's giving during this week, right? Is it the Broncos where they have pretty much ran with their defense and gotten a lot of their points from there? Because when you look at the Broncos offense, right? I had the points here and I can't find them, but we'll find them in a second. With Bo Nix and all that stuff, but what the Chargers need to do is they need to get their run game going because it has been absolutely absent on us. I mean, you can't win with no running game.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of like
Right.
a running game is kind of a forgotten thing, and it's only forgotten because of there's no high contracts and all that stuff. But you definitely need it in this game, and it's just not happening. Chargers gave up 40 points last week against Tampa Bay, but when you look previously the last 2 weeks, it was against Kansas City and Atlanta, and they gave up 19 and 13 points, or 13 and 19 respectively, if you want to look at it that way. So I do think they have the offense to do it, and their numbers are kind of skewed with that 40 from last week. And I do think the quick turnaround for this week does favor a defense as opposed to an offense. So Bo Nix, it's just right into the next week. It's no time to kind of think things through and go through things, but there's going to be a lot of factors going into this. They just need to get that offense going. Both of them, because last week no receiver for the Broncos got over 40 yards.
Yep.
Hey,
you're scoring this much. It's from the defense. Bo Nix is your leading rusher with 23 yards. That's a problem. Offensively for both teams, they just need work.
No, I agree with you 100%. And the Broncos are kind of like a year ahead of what the Chargers are this year, right? Because last year they kind of established themselves under Sean Payton as a running team with a solid defense, right? And the Chargers are trying to do the same thing this year. Obviously, that J.K. Dobbins injury, hate to see it. That's
it's a cut to the throat, right?
Yeah, and so it's like you kind of have to, look at Justin Herbert and be like, hey, look, you mind kind of if we kind of lean on you a little bit more? I get that too. I just hope that doesn't stifle their game plan. And I agree with you. They do need to establish that running game because, like you said, heading into the playoffs favors that defense. I think one thing for me that concerns about the Broncos is that I really hope that Bo Nix doesn't develop bad habits. And what do I mean by that? So, like you said before, it's like he was their leading rusher that game. Just
Yeah,
it's
and
like
it's not even a lot. 23 yards. I mean, it's
I know,
just
yeah,
like,
exactly. So it's like, but to still like have your quarterback, unless his name is Lamar Jackson, leading
Yeah.
you in rushing yards, it's like you typically shouldn't be doing that. But I think one thing that I was looking at the numbers that kind of concerned me a little bit is I hope that he's not too dependent in the passing game on Cortland Sutton, because Cortland Sutton's a great receiver, but
yes, yeah,
when he has, 878 yards, 6 touchdowns from Bo Nix. Those are pretty solid numbers, right?
Mhm.
He has 113 targets this year. The second most in that is their running back, Javonte Williams, in the passing game at 53 targets. I hope that as the season goes on and these next couple games go on, I hope that when he does come across tough defenses like the Chargers, he doesn't go to his comfortable state of either looking to scramble or looking for the number one and looking just. I hope he looks to find the open man, not his man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
what you're saying with that. But at the same time, you gotta look at it in a holistic sense as well. As he doesn't have many more people other than Cortland Sutton and the running back. So we're seeing it live action on the field, right? Like as it's happening, we're seeing, oh my God, he has no weapons other than Cortland Sutton. So that's why he's getting that.
Mhm.
As a franchise, the Broncos should see that just as well and then try to get him some weapons in the draft.
Yep.
Before he develops those habits.
Mhm.
So if you see what he can do with one piece. Throw some shit into the wind and try to pick up 2 diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
You get a good receiver and you get a tight end. Get a tight end and get a second running back. Like you and I say, a running back is a quarterback's best friend. A rookie's safety net is a tight end.
Built from the inside out.
Typically, yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then you go, and again, with the Chargers, you got to go back to the drawing board on that offensive line. You got to give Justin Herbert more time, and you have, again, with the running back, you have to get a well-conditioned running back for what your program is expecting.
Yeah. I mean, he's got Led McConkey. I mean, let's be honest. You know, it needs
Right.
to
At
be.
this point in time, you don't have many people.
Yeah.
And yet he's still kind of getting it done too. Lad McConkey is at just about the same yards as Cortland Sutton, Josh Palmer 500 yards, and Quentin Johnston, who's actually redeeming himself from last year, 459 yards and eight touchdowns. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I will say Herbert's been spreading the ball a little bit more than
Next.
Bo Nix, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's translating to points for the Chargers. And that's where it is. It's like running all this time and going down the field and then only to just either come away with the week 3 or come away with nothing. And that's going to kill you in the playoffs. It's like if you can't cash in when chips are on the table and you have to cash in, I'm afraid that the Chargers just don't have that extra gear to get them there.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right, because they've been searching for that gear for years.
If you, to be honest, if you tell me that about the Broncos, be like, all right, you got a rookie quarterback, you're figuring things
There's
out.
growing pains involved. That
Yes,
we're past the growing pain point with the Chargers. We gave them that, but they were striking light. They were striking magic during his rookie season.
Oh yeah.
So all that leeway of he's a rookie, that was more or less thrown out the window because of how good they were playing. But there was still that little anecdote of they have trouble closing games when they're up. They have trouble coming back from behind. They have trouble closing out games in the last 2 minutes. They get into penalty trouble early. All those little small factors. And then again, you have the leading problem that is we can't seem to find a formula at offensive line that works.
No.
And here we are, was it 6 years later? since he was drafted.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
Yeah, I think it is 6.
And we're still having the same conversations.
Yep.
And you have a different head coach who is doing his best to give you a run game, but injuries are now taking effect as well.
And they got some injuries on defense too going into this week.
Correct.
So, I don't know. Obviously, we'll wait and see. I guess it'll come out tomorrow who's playing, but that's going to be a tough task too.
Especially on a short week, man. It's tough.
You never like playing on a short week, especially when you're fighting for your life going into the end of the year. For both of these teams, it's not something you want, especially it being an interdivision game.
Yeah.
So these teams are both going to have to really dig deep.
It's funny because when I was looking at the games, and kind of going through stuff, I was talking to John about going back and forth, and I kept going back to this one, looking at it. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about it, and go back and forth. And the more I looked at it, it was the most or second most intriguing, and that's what we talked about before. But it just that interdivisional game that's now down to a playoff spot.
There's something about division games.
They can break time. Yeah.
To me, it's like who takes that next leap. Like they're kind of like right now they're kind of at that same point in the season, right? Just like a half step behind from one another, right? To me,
do you know who has the tiebreaker between them?
It's Chargers.
Chargers.
Chargers have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, they won the first game.
Yep.
Okay.
23-20 or something like that.
That was the one in Denver.
In Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I mean, if the Chargers get the sweep on the Broncos, I mean, all power to you, right? At that point you just can't fall short behind them, right? But the Broncos obviously have that one game advantage, right? So they're just a half step. To me, who makes that step forward? Who takes that step? And I think that's really what we're just going to see from these two teams, very evenly matched teams. Who makes that step forward? And I'm excited to see that on Thursday night.
This is going to be fun to watch.
Was it 8:15?
Yep.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prime, baby.
On
Prime.
The rest of the games are not great for Thursday night, or Thursday in general. But
well, Alex, let me ask you before we make picks. Do you have any final thoughts on this game?
No, I mean, I think we pretty much went through most of them. I think it's going to be a little. Last week 6 was 23-16 Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a little closer, to be honest, on this one. But I do think that if Herbert doesn't step up, man, I don't know. McConkey's gotten 5 plus catches over the last 7 out of 8 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's going to continue, but he doesn't have really any place to throw other than that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot on Herbert's shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be on this, and it's going against that Broncos defense is going to be very, very tough. So I don't know. It comes down to the weather, John.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
I was waiting to use
I'm
it.
leaving.
I'm leaving.
He's leaving his own show.
Oh, that was funny.
I love it, but because
God.
with the air pressure of the ball and everything.
Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, I know you have small kids, but John Hubbard, shut the fuck up.
That's fine.
They're in the other room. Don't worry.
It's funny.
Oh man, CP, let me ask. Final thoughts on this one.
2 very tall orders for these young quarterbacks going after these defenses that have clearly arrived and have proven that they are playoff ready. It's now just up to the offenses, who both leaders, Bo Nix and Justin Herbert, are playing with little to nothing when it comes to help. It's who can get through the defense with less.
Yep.
So it's really going to come down to coaching, and it's going to be a chess match for 4 quarters.
Oh man,
It's who can move the pieces the best.
So who do you have more faith in doing? Because let's be honest, their defenses are pretty much on the same field with same playing field. We talked about their numbers, right?
Well, Alex,
You
let me
have
ask.
more.
Let's rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Who you got? Who you got?
Wait, who you got for this game?
Yeah, I was gonna say who you
Yeah.
got this game.
Do we get a drum roll or anything? I got Chargers.
You going Chargers?
I'm going Chargers.
Oh, I respect it.
Yeah.
What was your final decision that decided on the Chargers? Because this could go either way, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. So to me, it's we both cited the numbers for the defense, right? And they're pretty much on the same level for defense wise. I think that the Broncos defense has won more recently the games than Bo Nix has, just based on the stats that I even said before. And I think that I believe Herbert more than Nix at this point in everything. And I think Herbert's going to pull it out.
Oh, I respect it, man. I respect it. CP, who you got for this one?
It's tough. It really is. It's tough. Because I have love for Justin Herbert. I have love for Bo Nix. I have love for both coaches, both organizations. I have a lot of respect for. I trust Sean Payton and preparing more because it's the inconsistency of a 2-minute game for me. At the end of the game, when it matters the most, you cannot guarantee that the Chargers will be on their A game. You cannot guarantee it.
You trust Nix to be on his A game.
I trust Sean Payton to prepare the team for a 4-quarter game.
You don't like Harbaugh?
I'm not saying I don't. I'm not saying I don't. It's he has not figured out the formula that gives them a consistent 2-minute game either this year.
That's fair.
And Sean Payton knows how to prepare for a 4-quarter game no matter who he plays, especially in his own division.
That's fair.
So I'm putting my faith in Sean Payton and being able to move the pieces for 4 quarters more effectively than Jim Harbaugh.
This is a tough one, man. This is tough.
Tiebreaker, John.
I am the tiebreaker. I'm gonna go with the Denver Broncos.
Oh,
because for a couple of reasons. Number A.
Number A.
Number A. It's tough to sweep a team in your own division. It's very tough to do that, and I know some teams make it look very easy to do so, but it's very tough. I have a lot of love for Justin Herbert, and I want to see him really reach that echelon of quarterbacks that his talent has proven otherwise. Like, I think he's talent-wise, he's up there with like Mahomes and Allen and Burrow and Lamar. I think he's right there.
Where's his Antonio Gates?
Exactly.
Where's his tight end?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a young tight end safety net.
Tomlinson or somebody. Give him something.
He needs some. The thing is, though, I'm glad he's found at least some kind of stability with Harbaugh. And I think that that's the best thing for Justin Herbert is to find stability within an organization.
It's a good start.
It's a good start, but obviously it's a year one of a good start, right? And with Denver,
at year 6.
Yes, exactly. And with Denver, this is also a year one of a really good start as well. I think, to me, I do trust Herbert more to get the job done, especially this year. He only has 2 interceptions, right? But he's obviously getting sacked a lot, right? I think Denver at this point in time is the better team than the Chargers. They have a little bit more on that defensive edge. They have a little bit more better of a run game. They're just a little bit healthier. And again, it's tough to sweep a division opponent. So I'm going to take the Broncos over the Chargers.
Cool.
I'm alone on my island.
You're the lone wolf, so
It's
you
all
just got to
good.
howl like a wolf. So let's move on to Sunday's slate of games, starting with
What
the
about Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We have
forgot.
Saturday
Yeah,
games.
We play Saturday at 4:30.
Oh my God, that's right. I kept thinking it was all on Sunday.
We play
Oh, we-
Saturday.
But there is another Saturday game I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's
before
2
us.
o'clock. Houston,
Exactly.
Kansas City.
That's exactly it. See, I'm getting to that. Texans, Chiefs, CP, who you got? The first Saturday game
In Arrowhead.
in Arrowhead.
I hate saying it. You're going to have to give me the Chiefs.
Mhm.
In Arrowhead late in the year, you want to talk cold like Buffalo, Kansas City is no warmer late in the year.
Yeah.
And warm teams don't like playing in the cold, and Houston's going to one of the coldest teams in the league.
Alex, who you got?
So obviously the wild card in this game is Mahomes, right?
Mhm.
Is
Playing
he
hurt.
playing? Yeah, he's playing hurt. I would say he's most likely playing, but who am I? I
Right,
haven't
yeah.
talked to the guy and know what he's doing. Obviously, if he's not playing, I'm going Texans. If he is playing, I'm going Chiefs.
So, right here, right now, knowing the information we know now,
Who
you got? You got to make one. No ifs.
I'm going Chiefs.
Going Chiefs. Okay.
Yep.
I respect it, mate. I too am going to go Chiefs. Even if Mahomes is going to be out, I still think the Chiefs will win this game.
Really? Okay.
Yes, because the Texans have been very mediocre as of late, both
Yes.
offensively and defensively, and I was not impressed with their outing against the Dolphins last week. They could have easily put the pedal to the metal on the Dolphins, and for whatever reason, they just kind of
Coasted, to say the least.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. I think the Chiefs, again, they're getting primed for that playoff run in Arrowhead. And I think, unfortunately for the Texans, they're just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll go with Kansas City. So let's move to our second Saturday game. The Steelers and the Ravens. Alex, who you got? I'm curious for this
I
one.
mean, I'm glad I'm in between you
I
guys.
know, right?
A bunch of fighting going back and forth. I feel like I'm
No, there's never any fighting
Oh,
amongst
shit.
us. There's always just conversation.
It is a tough one but I'm going Ravens.
Yes.
You're welcome, John.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
It's tough. I just believe in the Ravens more on this. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm not huge on the Steelers this year, but I'm going Ravens.
He's not a Russell Wilson guy.
You're not?
I'm not. And I've told John for years I have not been a Russell Wilson guy.
I respect it.
I don't believe in him. I think that his Seahawks tenure there was they blow him up to be better than he actually was during those times. But listen, if he's carrying you, that's awesome. I just think that it's going to be Ravens.
I respect it. Of course, I got to trust in my team to lock in the AFC North.
Yeah. I'm the tiebreaker on this one. I know it's already
Of course
happened.
you are.
It's funny because the last time we actually it was Ravens Steelers, we had a guest on. His name was John Conti. Shout out to John Conti, by the way. And he assumed that I was picking the Ravens. And I picked the Steelers to actually beat the Ravens that week.
And left him on an island.
And I left him
Really?
on an island, yes. And I remember telling you that too. I was like, no, I'm picking the Steelers to beat us. And they did beat us. Right, and rightfully so, because we did not play up to par. I'm taking the Ravens this time. I'm feeling a little bit more confident in this go-around.
Especially with the absence of TJ Watt.
Especially in the absence of TJ Watt. And, again, we're a little bit removed from the bye. We had basically kind of two byes. We had the bye week and then the Giants, right? So, kind of a get-right game. And I think that being that this is in Baltimore for all the marbles, if the Ravens have to have it, they have to have it now. And so if they are to win it, they have to win this week. So I believe in my Ravens, and thank you for believing in my Ravens too.
Anytime. I think offensively the Ravens are better, but defensively the Steelers are better. I just
absolutely.
think the Ravens offense is going to blow it out.
Hey,
So.
It's going to be a very fun game.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's what we live for, baby. It's what we live for. But okay, with that, let's move on to the other dirty bird of the league, Atlanta, where the New York Giants come to play. Yes, yeah, the Atlanta Falcons, yeah, with Michael Penix Jr. starting at the helm of Atlanta. So we have an Atlanta team with a rookie quarterback against a struggling Giants team. Alex, I'm guessing you're going with the Giants.
Yeah, 100% going with the Giants. Absolutely not. Even with Penix starting, over Kirk Cousins, who I don't think is done in this league at all. I just think he's taking a slow return from the Achilles surgery.
Mhm.
But I do think Falcons do win.
I like it. CP, who you got?
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me the Falcons. This should be a good game for Michael Penix to showcase himself
Mhm.
and show that he can be the future of the Falcons once Kirk Cousins is gone and they're done paying him forever.
What, 3 more years?
3 more years, yeah.
Right.
I do think Penix is going to be really good, actually.
I like Michael Penix. I always have.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's going to be good for the Falcons too, and that's what they need too. They need that young blood quarterback, right? Desmond Ridder was never it, but I think Penix, you can get a lot of belief in around him, and I'm going to take the Falcons as well. Again, it's the Giants, right? Let's not overthink this here. They suck.
Right.
So even if Penix starting, even if the Water Boy was starting, I'm taking the Falcons to beat the Giants. Bobby Boucher.
Adam Sandler.
Bobby Boucher. Okay, so let's move on to Chicago, where the Detroit Lions come to play the Bears. Chris Palmer, you taking your man Caleb Williams and the Bears, baby?
The most unimpressive rookie I've watched in years. Give me Detroit. Chicago is really falling into the wrong place at the wrong time. You want to talk about wrong place, wrong time? They're in the way of Detroit coming off of a bad loss.
Yeah.
I would say, Alex, you taking Detroit as well?
There's not much more you need to say with that. I think Detroit, with that terrible loss, is going to be coming out taking people's kneecaps, as their coach would say. But yeah, Caleb Williams has been a full disappointment. I thought they were coming into a year big with him, and it just has not happened. And I actually love Detroit this year, let alone this game. So I'm pulling Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going to take Detroit as well. I don't think the Bears are just going to win another game this year, especially if they have to play the rest of the NFC North. Yeah, no, that's a tall order for any team.
Just too much.
So I'm going to take the Lions over the Bears. Let's move on to Carolina, where the Cardinals come to play the Carolina Panthers. CP, who you got for this one?
Arizona's in must-win mode. Carolina's in light at the end of the tunnel mode. Give me Arizona, but I'm looking at Carolina for next year. Keep looking at Carolina for the horizon, man. There is light at the end of that tunnel, and I won't be swayed.
Alex, who you got for this one?
I am begrudgingly saying Cardinals. I do not believe in Kyler Murray, but I just think they're going to beat the Panthers.
A couple of hot takes tonight, my friend. I like it.
So I don't. It's just, I don't know. Something about him just, I don't know.
The way he runs.
Yeah, he runs like a baby.
It's because he runs like a hobbit.
Yes. It drives me nuts. I can't watch him.
It's always the way he runs. It's always the way he runs. People can't stand Kyler Murray.
When they have the overhead camera over him, that is cool. But
he runs like a hobbit.
Just if you have to put in his contract that he doesn't play video games, it's a problem. And I don't necessarily whatever. But yeah, I'm going Cardinals. So I'm going for him this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals as well. But I think this game might be a little close to comfort than Arizona would like it.
100%.
But I'll take the Cardinals to win. Which brings us to the MetLife, where the Rams take on the New York Jets. Alex, who you got?
How does the song go? It's Jets are gonna lose.
You damn right they are.
You're goddamn right they are.
I'm actually signing up for I hope they lose the rest of the year, because I just, there's been so many years where there's just so much faith, and I don't want to go off on the Jets right now because I know we've talked about them all year. I'm just so fed up with this team. I can't take it anymore. I want everything blown up. I want Mike Vrabel in, and I think the Bears are going to go after him. But I was talking to John before. I want Vrabel or I want Gruden. and I want things blown up.
Wait
and
a
I want
minute.
it-
You Palmer's face right
You
now.
have to come on next year and talk and tell me
Dude,
why you want John Gruden as a coach. You got to tell
All
me that.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Boom.
Sign me up. Because you just sit back and just let me go off because
Yes,
can't-
I need to
that's-
hear your promo cut on the Jets. We need to
This
walk
is
down
why
that
we gotta
road.
get you in, like,
We need to open that drawer.
we got to get you in September when your hope and optimism is at an
when
all-time
I
high.
actually have hopes.
Yeah, when
It's
you're
like,
drinking
oh,
the
it's
fruit
happy.
punch, I need
I
to
hope-
hear what you say.
And then all I have haunting over me is a freaking butt fumble
So-
for the rest of the time.
No, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
As a Jet fan, when you heard 13 wins, did you think it was possible?
This
John
season,
Yes
will
or no?
know.
Just yes or
John
no?
will know. I said yes. 100%. I thought yes.
you drank the Kool-Aid, bro. You drank the Kool-Aid.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
but I respect
so-
it, though. I respect
I respect it. I'm gonna lay it out.
Pull in. I had belief because last year I didn't
Okay.
even get to see it. Right.
Mhm.
I go into this 4 plays later. I'm gonna go off. I can't.
Next year. Save it for next year.
So 4 plays in, I lose everything. I didn't get to
Oh,
see
we
it. I had
lost them.
Zach Wilson for the whole year. They can't even get a damn quarterback. So I have to watch Zach Wilson when this great team that I thought I had, and it. So yeah, no, I'm done.
We'll open that drawer next year, my friend.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Oh, it's exploded. It's gonna explode.
Paul, I will never forget the text that I got from Alex that night, where he was also, I think, helping his neighbor get his dog that night, and so he wasn't there to see it. And then so I texted him. I was like, "Oh no!" And then I get a call from him, and he's like, "I just don't want my teams to be fucking cursed. One of my teams, I don't want to be cursed."
It's the curse of Joe Namath.
Yes, dude, we sold our soul. I'm a Mets, Jets, and Islanders fan. I just want one. Just give me one out of any of my teams, and I will go streaking across my whole town and get arrested. I don't care.
No.
Yes, you guys know what it's like to win. I have nothing.
Alex, again, like I told you before,
No.
maybe not in your lifetime, but maybe in your son's lifetime.
God,
Let's not walk down that road either. We're not going to talk about lifetimes as to when they're going to start winning again. That's not a road to walk.
I have tried, but Colton, my son, is full on. I'm going to pick Daddy's teams, and it's like, oh,
Don't do it.
do you
He'll
want
learn.
Don't do it, kid. Don't do it, kid.
He'll
I'll
learn.
tell you, Phil's character. I'm just a born loser. I get it.
He'll learn.
Yeah, he will.
Well,
Yep.
Colton, I'm not picking the Jets this week either, so I'm taking the Rams to beat the Jets this week. CP, what about you?
That's a surprise.
I mean,
If the Rams somehow lose this game, there's more problems in LA than I think anyone could ever notice. So the Rams should have no problem winning this game and keeping their hopes alive for the playoffs.
just know I'm also time stamping your rant on the Jets. By the way, it's just
Just a
Oh,
little anecdote
not again.
for next year.
so,
Just sit back and I will genuinely go off.
so
But
that when
I'll take McVay off their hands if they want to give me him.
Oh,
I mean-
Lord.
I love it, Alex. I'm glad we're getting you on next year for the Jets. But let's move on to we got more games to pick, so let's keep picking them. We got the Eagles and the Commanders. This should be a fun one. I'm excited for this one. Another green team, but it's not Jets. So, but Alex, who you got for this one?
So I hate
You
Philly.
want the upset. I can already tell you want the upset.
I so badly want the upset.
Take it.
but not here.
Take it.
But I don't think it's gonna happen. I
Not
really
here,
don't. I want the upset so badly because I in every fiber of my being cannot stand Philly. But I'm gonna have to pick the Eagles. I'm gonna have to do it. I would love an upset right here, and I think there's a little potential for it, and I think it's gonna be a decently close game. But I don't think Philly's gonna lose it.
CP, who you got?
Yeah, you're going to have to give me Philly. Washington is just showing that they're not ready.
Yep.
And, Philly is a front runner for a Super Bowl run on the other side. So, not ready versus Super Bowl run, that's not a good equation.
Yeah, again, Eagles are on a collision course to meet the Lions in the NFC Championship, and I'm excited for that. I'm going to take the Eagles as well. I might be smelling an upset here with you as well, Alex. I might be smelling
A little
something
bit.
here with you. But I think, to me, they're their offense and their defense has just fallen off at the wrong time, and both of them too. So, Commanders, it's going to be a little tough sledding ahead of them, especially if they want to make a wild card run, as we thought that they were going to make like 2 months ago. Now it's getting a little harder for Washington. So if they really want to make a playoff push with Jaden Daniels, they kind of have to win this game.
They're both very good home teams.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we're right on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to another divisional game. The Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Ohio Bowl, round 2. Alex, who you got for this one?
So, I don't know what is happening. I thought the Bengals, whatever you want to call them now.
Bengals.
Yep. Both of you hate the Bengals.
Fucking Bobcats.
To be fair, I thought they were going to do and be a lot better than they were this year. Offensively, the Bengals are still, I feel, a far superior team over the Browns, and superior team, take that for what it's worth, because they're both terrible. So I will take the Bengals. But I don't know what happened to them. But yeah.
CP, who you got?
You're gonna have to give me the Bengals, but it's gonna be an ugly game. The Browns decided to sit Jameis Winston, so their new starting quarterback, it's Dorian Thompson Robinson or whatever the fuck it, crazy ass name. DTR, man. So gonna have to give me Cincy, but this is gonna be the fucking dirt bowl.
I just saw the Bengals are 1-5 at home this year.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
They're not playing well this year.
No. And I think to answer your question, Alex, before like what went wrong with them, their defense is what went wrong, and more so in the secondary, because what was it? Trey Hendrickson leads the league in sacks per player. Joe Burrow leads the league in passing yards. Jamar Chase leads the league in receptions and touchdowns, right? And it's like, so like they have great players, right? But their defense just gives up points, right? If your offense is putting up 35 points, but your defense is giving up 38, you're going to lose those games. And in fact, we actually just saw a lot of those like twice with the Ravens-Bengals game. That's exactly what happened. They put up 35 and Ravens just happened to score a little bit more. So I'll take the Bengals. But Alex, we do have a phrase on this show. Fuck the Bengals.
Fucking Bumpcats.
See, I like to say fuck Philly. So, but
fuck
I pick Philly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I fucking can't stand them. Listen, if there was ever a team that I genuinely wish didn't win a game every season, it was the fucking Bengals. And I can't even explain to you why. It's just
but why?
It's all since I've become a Steelers fan. That's just what it's been. There's been mutual respect for the Ravens, but whenever the Bengals played the fucking Steelers, there was just always that little bit of dirty play that changed it into a bloodlust when it comes to that team. You just don't. Fuck the Bengals. There's just something about it that just gets you fight right.
Well, the problem is the Browns will dig their own hole every year.
So they're little brother. They're not an issue.
No.
And the Bengals are little brother too.
I feel bad for them.
The Bengals are little brother too, but they're like trying to beat their chest and they're just annoying.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for the Browns because I can't feel bad for a fan base that cheers on a player's injury.
Correct.
So I can never feel bad for Cleveland. In that regard, but fuck them both. Why not?
They're little brother, and they can stay down there and fight for fucking last place.
Okay, let's move on to the AFC South, where the Tennessee Titans take on the Colts. Alex, who you got for this one?
Levis versus Richardson, huh?
Yes.
I'll go Colts.
Ooh,
I don't necessarily.
You don't like mayo?
I'm glad you got that reference.
That was good. Titans for me, really, really kind of fell off a cliff this year, and not that I ever thought they were going to be great, but they're just not offensively there, and not that the Colts are either, but I think if I had to pick, I'm going to go Colts, which I do have to pick.
Yes. CP, who you got?
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me the Colts. While both are sitting in like a limbo when it comes to who they are as a franchise, at least Indy has a vision. Tennessee doesn't even have a vision at this point.
No.
It's at the bottom of a Hellman's jar.
Yeah.
But I'll take the Colts to beat the Titans as well. Indy, surprisingly, still alive in the wild card race.
It won't be for long.
Not exactly, it won't be for long, but still viable. Let's move on to Seattle, where the Minnesota Vikings come to play the Seahawks. This is another very interesting game, and I'm excited for this one. I'm going to take the Vikings on this one. I just have a little bit more confidence in them. And again, Seattle just seems to be playing a lot of hero ball with Geno Smith. In some games it works, some games it doesn't. But I think the Vikings are a consistently good team this year, and I'll pick them to win. So, with that, CP, who you got for this one?
I'm almost smelling upset here because they're playing at home in Seattle. Very tough to play in Seattle. Give me Minnesota, but I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Seattle came away with the upset.
Nice. Okay, Alex.
Battle of ex-Jets quarterbacks. So Seattle's 3-5 at home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Vikings. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be that close. To be honest, I think it's gonna be Vikings.
Good shit.
Man, this is gonna be a really good one to watch.
Yeah. Well, I think it's gonna be a good game. I just don't think it's gonna be within. I don't even know if you guys look at spreads or know what the spread is. I have no idea.
I'm guessing the spread's probably like 6, if I had to say.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I would say it'd probably be a touchdown difference.
Yeah.
In the game.
Let's move on to Buffalo, where if we thought the spread for the Seahawks was a 7, with the Patriots coming to town, the spread might be 14. So, but
yep.
So Patriots, Bills. I'm guessing we're all going Bills on this one. I think general consensus.
Wait, can you smell that?
No,
it doesn't smell like an upset. I'll tell you that.
No, don't do it.
It's the rolling dumpster fire of New England.
Oh, okay. I thought you were smelling an upset. I was like, no, don't.
God, no, come on.
You guys are with the Bengals. I'm with the Patriots. So I will love a dumpster fire with them.
They're going to be a dumpster fire for a couple of years.
And fuck Tom Brady.
Oh, Mac Jones didn't work out. I'm so sorry.
What? He's in Jacksonville now.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He didn't work out. I feel so bad for them.
The favorite of Nick Saban was not the favorite of Bill Belichick.
No.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Jacksonville. They actually played the Raiders this week.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the Ugly Bowl.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ugly games this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, Alex, who you got for this one?
Oh, God.
Which team is worse?
Yeah. I'll go Raiders, and I have no idea why.
There's really no reason, but that's good.
I respect it.
There's no reason.
It's a good thing.
CP, who you got?
Give me Mac Jones because he's just having the fucking time of his life. The last game, that man was having so much fun playing like ass.
He was. I will say, it was actually kind of nice to watch him just...
It was entertaining watching him have fun.
Yeah.
So it's like, bring that energy next week.
I'll take the Jags as well. Again, you can flip a coin on either one of these, but it's like...
You guys are swaying me. Can I switch mine to the Jags?
Yeah, you can switch it if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll switch to the Jags.
Fine. That's fine.
This shows that it's on the spot for people, so they know.
It's such a snooze.
Yeah, this is. God.
Well, I was going to say, is the 49ers and Dolphins, is that going to be a snooze as well? Possibly.
Potentially.
But I mean, both of them still technically alive. I guess a heartbeat still counts as alive. So
right, a pulse still means alive somehow.
So, Alex, let me ask you. 49ers, Dolphins, who you got?
I'm a Brock Purdy believer. I do. And I don't know why. I think I just like the little guy. that just comes back from being the last pick in the draft. But I do think the Niners are going to pull it out. I think they're going to be in contention on the last week for a playoff spot. To be honest, I think their team is too good to not be.
Mhm.
They just haven't played like it. But hopefully they start turning it around, and I think they will be in at least contention for a playoff spot.
Mhm.
Dolphins can go kick rocks, if I'm being
They
honest.
can go kick rocks, he says. I love it.
CP, who you got for this one?
You're actually gonna have to give me Miami on this one.
Ooh.
The reason why, Alex.
Yeah.
26 injuries on your starting roster for the 49ers.
Yep.
If not more, if I'm not
After
mistaken.
being out is huge.
McCaffrey out for the rest of the year. Trent Richardson.
Richardson's out for the end.
Sorry, Trent Williams out for the rest of the year.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, I said Richardson too. Yeah, Williams out for the year.
Huge on the offense. I believe in Brock Purdy. The healthiest team will always win.
Agreed. However, I don't think in this case.
I'm torn on this one. Because I look at it too, and it's just like Miami has not been playing to their caliber, even with Tua, and I wanted Miami to really kind of arrive in Houston last week, and they just didn't. Whereas the 49ers, they just been decimated with injuries after injuries after injuries. It's just been the story of the 49ers this year. And I look at these two teams, and I'm like, they both have to have it, must-win games. On the spot, I guess I'm gonna take Miami on this one.
Alone on my island again. I like it.
Yeah. And part of me, again, maybe 2 minutes ago I was thinking Niners, and I kind of was, but again, just injuries.
Those injuries, man, it's so bad.
It's hard for any
guys,
team to
don't
overcome.
forget that they got rid of Ravens' great Odell Beckham Jr. So that's a
Ravens great.
Shot to the Dolphins. Yeah.
You're talking about all-time giant Odell Beckham Jr. there, sir. That is the cover of Madden. Show some goddamn respect.
It's okay. They got that all-time chief, Tyreek Hill. So
yeah, it's true.
Right.
Which I just feel like he is not a shell of himself. He's still showing up, but yeah.
He's been the Lamborghini in the garage this whole season.
He has. Yep.
That's really it.
Yep.
Oh, man. So, with that, we have one more game on Sunday, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. Chris Palmer, who you got?
Going into Jerry World as it falls apart, literally, going to have to give me Tampa.
I like it. See, Alex, who you got?
Does anybody love the Cowboys falling apart? Because I do. And it happens every year, but it's still just something
fun.
that I just
Always
love.
good to see.
It's fun to see.
Just
Good
love
television.
to watch. Jerry just needs to step back and let somebody else take care of the team. I'm going Bucks all day.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bucks as well. Bucks, they have a lot more to play for, especially they're just trying to keep up with Atlanta. And if Atlanta's going to win against the Giants this week, Tampa's got to win against Dallas this week.
I think Baker is perfect for that team.
Yes,
100%.
100%. Mm-hmm. He is the right fit and the right leader that team needs.
Yep.
100%. Okay, with that, we have one more game for Week 16, and that is the Saints and Packers on Monday night. Alex, who you got for this one?
Going Packers. I don't know how I feel about Jordan Love yet, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still kind of on the fence. I do think it's unfair if they had Favre, Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. Just being honest.
Yeah.
But
they went 3 for 3 on franchise quarterbacks.
Exactly. Like, come on.
Meanwhile, the Jets are still
the Jets are floundering in Zach Wilson and his hot mom. But I'm going Packers.
I just heard what you said, and the light bulb went off, and it's like, Jesus Christ. You need fucking Jesus.
CP, who you got for this one?
You're going to have to give me Green Bay because although you don't want it to be true, the Green Bay Packers did go 3 for 3, and Jordan Love is their franchise guy. They are taking the floor with the ceiling. He throws some risky balls in the air,
So did Brett Favre.
but man, can he move the ball down the field. So
Yep.
they struck lightning 3 times.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Packers as well. Again, they were my Super Bowl team in the NFC, and despite a couple losses, I don't really see them far from that. I still think that they can still compete with Detroit and the Eagles for a playoff spot or for a Super Bowl spot. And I think that now again they're in playoff mode, so I'm going to take the Packers to beat the Saints. So
Are you still pulling for them for the Super Bowl, you think?
I still want them. I would like to see them in it. At this point in time, I wouldn't be mad if any of the NFC North was in it. I'd like to see the Packers. I like to be right, but I wouldn't be mad if the Lions were in it. Believe me, I would not be mad by any means.
I would love the Lions.
I would love it too.
To be honest, I think.
I think America deserves a Detroit Super Bowl.
Yes, agreed. I agree.
Detroit deserves a Detroit
one.
Super Bowl too.
Detroit deserves it.
Oh man! So
right.
That is our games for Week 16. But we will not be recording on Christmas Day next week. We typically record on Wednesdays, so that means we are also going to be picking 2 extra games this week, and those are the games on Christmas Day. Fortunate for us, those are our 2 respective teams. But let's start with the first game on Christmas, the Chiefs and the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Alex, who you got for this one?
I think these 2 games are awesome.
They're great.
These games are great.
I think they're going to be great. I think with it's another short week. So I don't know how much of health Mahomes is going to have, because it's you're going game after game pretty much on it. But I am still taking the Chiefs on this.
Ooh, okay. CP, what you got?
No, you're good. I'm actually gonna have to go with the Chiefs too, because it's gonna come down to how both teams walk out of this upcoming week.
Mm-hmm.
And although I think the Steelers are gonna walk away from Baltimore, 5 days leading up to a Christmas Day game against Kansas City is a very short amount of time to heal and prepare for another slugfest of a game. And when it comes to the Chiefs, they seem to just be coasting against every team and just winning. So while they are pretty much in playoffs mode, we're gonna be hurting coming into this game. So I'm gonna give this one to Kansas City.
I'm going with the Steelers to beat the Chiefs. Ooh. I'm on my island alone here, but
that's fine.
Also for the same reason as well. Kansas City's going to be hobbling into this game as much as the Steelers are going to be hobbling as well. Again, injuries, whoever's the healthier team, all that stuff. I also just think Tomlin knows how to coach against the Chiefs. He does his coaching, and he may get Coach of the Year this year. He's a strong contender for it. I think if he beats the Chiefs, I think that more than seals it for him. But he does have a good game plan on how to slow them down and to really stifle them on defense. And it's always a great chess match between Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin. But I'll go with Mike Tomlin to beat Andy Reid.
Interesting. That's a good call. I like it.
I love it.
So, which brings us to our second game on Christmas. My Baltimore Ravens against the Houston Texans. CP, who you got for this one?
Give me Baltimore going into Houston and taking care of business. Again, it's going to come down to how they enter from this past week.
Oh, yeah.
I think Baltimore is going to be able to recover better than Houston is.
Mm-hmm.
These guys have been through a Steelers game where if the playoffs are on the line. Houston kind of got a speed run to the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
This is their first middle of the road fist fight all the way through.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to see.
Alex, who you got for this one?
I'm gonna go Ravens. Houston has 100 less points this year so far than the Ravens do, and I just think it's gonna come down to the offense. So I'm going Ravens.
Yeah, I'll go Ravens as well for obvious reasons. But
Why?
I again think that I want to see these next couple weeks. I want to see our defense get better. I don't have any doubts about our offensive capabilities, but it's can our defense get the job done and really not give up costly penalties. But
Yeah.
I'll take the Ravens to beat the Texans.
Cool. Well, there you have it, guys. There's our picks for this week and the 2 games coming up on Christmas Day. We will not be recording on Christmas, so for those who watch, we do wish you guys a very happy and safe Christmas, and enjoy every holiday that comes around for the season.
Festivus.
Happy Festivus to the rest of us. So please leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Hope everyone is ready for a great week of football, and we will see you guys when we return.
Yes, and Alex, thank you so much for joining us this week. We really appreciate it.
Boys.
Of course, and we can't wait to have you on next year.
You sure about that?
We're very
100%
sure
can't wait to open that drawer.
So until then, guys, have a very happy holidays, and we'll see you guys next time.